So yes, I'm done covering the Kent Hovind Chris Jones situation. If I do talk about Kent Hovind in future videos, it will be about other things that he's done or said or taught. It will not be about this Chris Jones thing. As far as the Chris Jones Kent Hovind thing goes, it is over. It is done. The truth is out there. We all know who Chris Jones really is. The only newsworthy thing that could happen at this point is if Chris Jones actually does get arrested for molesting Zaire and gets sent back to prison for a really long time. Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR Army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. And as you can see from the title and thumbnail of today's video, today we're going to be covering some breaking news that first came to my attention by Mark Stoney just a few minutes before I sat down to record this video. As you guys saw before the intro video, you saw that I had previously said at the conclusion of my third expose on the Kent Hovind Chris Jones situation that unless Chris Jones was arrested and sent back to jail, I was done talking about that whole situation as an expose series. Well, lo and behold, it happened. As you can see here on the screen from a Yahoo News article, Aiken man faces criminal sexual conduct charges involving a minor. Well, that seems innocent enough, but let's read the article. A local man is facing criminal sexual conduct stemming from a sexual assault involving a minor. Christopher Link Jones, 55 of Aiken, was arrested and charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct to commit or attempt a lewd act with a victim aged 16 or younger, according to jail records. Christopher Link Jones is Chris Jones. This is the same Chris Jones who was already a registered sex offender in South Carolina, which I showed on screen in my original Kent Hovind Chris Jones expose. So that Chris Jones just got arrested again. But let's keep reading the article. It's really short. Police were advised by the FBI that juvenile victims may have been sexually assaulted in Aiken County by the suspect, according to an incident report from the Aiken County Sheriff's Office. According to Aiken County Sheriff's Office arrest warrants, between November 5, 2016 and November 5, 2017, the suspect did willfully and lewdly commit a lewd or lascivious act upon a juvenile victim with the intent of arousing or appealing to his sexual desires or lust by inappropriately touching the victim. Oh, you mean just like he did to Zaire, according to Zaire's mother and Zaire himself, after his visit to DAL in 2019? Say it isn't so. Jones is listed as an inmate at the Aiken County Detention Center and has a $15,000 bond. So, what we learned from this article is that Chris Jones has been arrested and is currently, or at least at the time of the article, was sitting in the Aiken County Detention Center as an inmate because sometime between November of 2016 and November of 2017, he sexually assaulted a minor who was under the age of 16. We have no information about the victim other than that. But if you have been following Kent Hovind's YouTube channel since he got out of prison back in 2016, what you may recall is that back in 2017, there was a video or two on Kent's channel where he came out and said that Chris Jones did nothing wrong, he never molested anyone, and all that stuff from the late 2000s that he was convicted of. It was all a lie to cover up the fact that Chris Jones was exposing the New World Order and the globalists and their little get-togethers over at, what's that grove? that one Grove thing that they do. Ah, who cares? Because it's all a bunch of crock. So during 2017, when Kent Hovind was going on his YouTube channel and saying that Chris Jones did nothing wrong and never molested anyone, and it was all a bunch of lies to cover up the fact that he was exposing the New World Order, while Kent Hovind was saying all of that on YouTube back in 2017, Chris Jones was molesting another minor. You know, that thing he had been charged with and convicted of and served time in jail for back in the late 2000s, Kent. Yep, he was doing this during that time where you were saying he was innocent back in 2017. So, ladies and germs, it seems that Kent Hovind has been covering for Chris Jones for a lot longer than just the Zaire incident in 2019, which I initially exposed in my original expose. Kent Hovind is a pedo enabler covering for Chris Jones who slept with a minor at DAL. And of course, Kent Hovind continued to cover up by accusing me of being a pedo while simultaneously admitting that Chris Jones committed a felony at DAL when he brought Zaire there in 2019. And of course, there's my third expose where Zaire exposes Kent Hovind's lies and testifies that Chris Jones did indeed molest him. We also saw the testimony from Zaire's mother confirming all of this as well. What's ironic about this entire situation is that last year when me and Mark Stoney and Cindy Lincoln and all the other interested content creator parties were making these videos exposing the whole Kent Hovind, Chris Jones situation regarding Zaire in 2019, we were hoping that the result of all of our exposés would result in Chris Jones being arrested and thrown back in prison because we felt like we had a really solid case for it. Well, it turns out that Chris Jones did get arrested for sexually assaulting a minor, and he is going back to jail, but it's for a completely different victim than Zaire. It turns out that Chris Jones, 3 years before he brought Zaire to DAL, he was already doing the diddling with another minor under the age of 16. And this is why he's going back to jail. It's because of what he did to that boy 3 years before he brought Zaire to DAL. With all of the dark stuff going on in today's world, especially with all of the child grooming that's being done by the people in the education system here in the United States of America and even in my own backyard in my own state, it is a breath of fresh air to see a convicted pedo finally get justice for reoffending and molesting more children after he had already been through the ringer for doing the same thing back in the 2000s. My only hope is that when Chris Jones is going through his trial here in South Carolina for what he did to this boy in 2017, my only hope is that his sentence is the rest of his life in a hole with the key thrown away and that he never sees daylight again. That's the hope I have for the outcome of Chris Jones's upcoming trial. And if the South Carolina courts decide to do that, then not only will justice have been found for the victim that Chris Jones assaulted back in 2017, but also in an indirect way, Zaire will finally have been given justice by God for what Chris Jones did to him back in 2019. As far as how Kent Hovind is going to react to this whole situation, it could really go either way. On the one hand, I could see Kent Hovind come out on his channel in a video and be like, no, man, this is all BS. Chris Jones never molested that other boy in 2017. It never happened. The other way I could see it going is Kent Hovind could completely disavow Chris Jones and pretend like, oh yeah, I never covered for him and did all this stuff. As soon as I found out that he really did the thing that he was accused of, well, I decided to cut ties with that turd burrito. He's gone. I could see Kent Hovind doing that too to try to save face for himself. With that, I bid you guys adieu and farewell, and hopefully you found this story, as dark as it is, to also be somewhat encouraging. Justice still exists in this world.